About a year ago, Cullen Kelly opened our eyes to balancing shots on the DaVinci Resolve color page using linear gain in an amazing tutorial called I Stole This Trick from VFX Artists. And today, I'd love to share with you how you can color balance on the Fusion page with linear gain as well, with all the extra tools that Fusion has to offer. The simplest way to work in linear on the Fusion page is just to turn on project-wide color management. So what that means, if I come down to my project settings, I'll go to color management, I'll change the color settings here to DaVinci YRGB color manage, change the color processing mode to HDR, because you can see I've got log footage, hit save, and a couple things have happened under the hood automatically for us. One is as footage is brought into the Fusion page, it's converted to linear. So every single node that we do over here, like the color correction and the gain tools, those are going to work in linear for our balancing. We don't have to right click to change the gamma like you do on the color page. And the other thing that happens is we get this viewing LUT that's getting automatically added here too as well. So if you ever needed to see the linear image, you click that and you can see that's the actual image that's being operated on mathematically. But we never want to see it that way, just like we don't want to see log. So I will click that button again. And the other thing that's important to know when you turn on color management is you do need to interpret or tag your footage in the media pool. And in Fusion, the way you can do that, you can't right click on a media in one and say, I'm going to change the input color space. But what you can do is find it in the media pool easily with Alt F or Option F. And that opens the media pool, it selects the clip so you can right click on it and just check your input color space, make sure it's tagged correctly. This is Apple Log. It was shot with the Blackmagic iPhone camera app, which already tags things correctly for you with metadata. But if you had a different camera, you would choose that here. If it was RAW, you won't even have the option because it's going to do it right for you. But just know that that's how you make sure all your color operations are happening properly. Now, the most obvious tool to balance an image in the Fusion page is using the color corrector tool. And that's actually right up here in the tool bar. So if I just click this and drag it down here, I can place it exactly where I want it. Now, if you drag it over the node, over this pipe, it doesn't just add like it might in the color page if you're used to that. You have to hold down Shift on the Fusion page and you'll get this blue to yellow line, and now it's intercepted into the flow. Another important concept that's different on the Fusion page from the color page with nodes is on the color page, you're viewing whatever you load into this viewer. On the color page, you're always viewing the output of this green dot over here. This is like your media out. This is kind of like your media in, but you're always viewing this unless you're in highlight mode. Now, on the Fusion page, you're forcibly loading in the stage of the signal processing of the node that you're looking at. For instance, we can see at the top here, I'm looking at media out because it's just that's what loads automatically. But if I want to look at media in, I click and drag. Now I'm looking at media in. If I'm looking at the color corrector, if I drag that in, if I want to make a big change, you can see the result of the stage of the flow with what's loaded in. Now, a common misconception about this color corrector tool is that some people think that this color wheel is kind of like the lift gamma gain. If you change to shadows, midtones, highlights over here, this is not lift gamma gain. This is more like your log tools or your HDR tools on the color page. Instead, we actually do have dedicated lift gamma gain down here. That's just not in the same spot. They're done with sliders because we're working pixel perfect, like precision. We're doing color by numbers on the Fusion page. And it's typically because we're matching a foreground to a background. There's a white truck. I want to make this white truck neutral, which means the green channel value, the red and blue all need to have the exact same number. And one thing that's really cool is down at the bottom of the viewer in Fusion, you can see color red right there on the pixel that my cursor is currently pointed at. Is the red channel is 0.32397, green is 0.29485. This is a 32-bit float pixel value. So the idea is if I match all these so that the red, green, and blue channel numbers are the same here, it will appear neutral with no color cast to it. And doing it with gain, linear gain, is a really clean way to do it in a photometric, like a pleasing way. I'm going to change this channel here so we're not actually viewing color because we don't need that. We have numbers down below. So what we're going to do is we're going to use green as our reference. And the reason we're choosing green channel as our reference, which is done by clicking this color box up here, is because this green channel carries most of the luminance in a video signal. Blue and red are going to get matched to the green channel. And if I want to see both at the same time without just matching the numbers of this pixel, we can open up the buffer split wipe. And so that's found, like I showed you over here, buffer split wipe, we'll choose buffer B. and there's nothing in it by default. So I'm going to load the color correct tool in there. And now if I want to see the split wipe, click it again, and there's shortcuts for all these as well. So I've got color corrector on both sides. This one is still set to color. This one you can see up there is set to green. So I want to take this one and we'll start with the red channel. So I'll change this to red. These all have shortcuts, easy to remember. C for color, R for red, G, exactly. So C, R, G, B. So you don't have to come up there every time. So on this side, we've got green. This side, let's start with red. So R for red. I'm going to come down here and find an area that I want to neutralize. So I can clearly visually see my green channel is a lower value than my red channel. But I can also easily, clearly see if I just park a cursor, I can look down here at the bottom below my viewer. I'm going to freeze frame it. I've got 0.32951, which is higher than the green value of 0.30038. So I need those to match. I need to bring the red gain, I'm working in linear already, the red-green gain down to match the green gain. So we do that over here in the color corrector tool. At the bottom we have gain, but we need to select the individual channels correctly. So I'm choosing the red channel that's over here. The gain slider, this can be dragged. You can drag these numbers. If you hold down Command or Control while dragging, you get more precision. So I'm dragging this down so that my right side of my split matches my left one. I'm doing this with my eyes first, and my eyes are gonna lie to me, and especially that green line in between is kind of make it a little bit more difficult. But let's say I'm happy with right there. The next step you can do to get really accurate, park your cursor over there, see it's flashing, and then move your cursor over to any pixel. Let's say I move it to this pixel right here. I can inspect the value down in the bottom of the viewer, 0.30984 for red, 0.29742 for green. So my red is still higher than my green, so I need to bring it down. I can use my arrows on the keyboard to lower the value. You can see I'm bringing that red value down until I get to that green value to match. Right? If I want to go in a larger increment, I can just use the left key on the keyboard. And you can see I'm lowering that even further now in the red channel. So I'm trying to get down to, let's actually go further. 0.299. Okay, I'm going to go to the right a little bit with my cursor. 0.299. There we go. 0.29727. Maybe I use the far right value that's on there to get this as close as I can. 0.29742. And those are as close as I can get, but it's pretty darn close. 0.29743, 0.29742. So the red is almost a dead-on match between those two. And you can see visually they're about the same. So let's go and jump to the blue channel next. So we're gonna match blue to green. So green is our constant. So to match the blue, all I need to do, come up here on this red channel side, we're gonna change this to view blue instead, and we'll see how different that is. That is much lower than the green. So to do linear gain on the blue channel to neutralize, come to the channel selection over here, hit blue, and this one needs to be increased. So I can drag our gain with blue selected up till they start to match. And just like before, hold down Command or Control, gives you more values, more decimal points on there. And then I can do the same thing over here. I just drop my cursor, and then I'm looking down at the viewer, down at there towards the bottom to see what my green and this time what my blue values are. So 0.32464 is what my blue is. It's higher than green, so I'm going to start bringing it down. I'm using the arrow keys on the keyboard to navigate there. So 0.29684. This is not how you would color grade a show, but this is how you can precisely balance and match different shots using all of these extra tools that you might not be aware of. On the color page, you have a 0 to 255 color picker, which is nice, but this is 32-bit float precision in those values that we're seeing. So I've got a pretty good match here. They're 29684, 29683. That's close enough. So what we'll do now is I will zoom back out to fit. So Command F, Control F fits that to window. I'll just go to one single viewer, just buffer, let's just say buffer A, and we'll change this to color mode. So again, C is short for color, and there's our balanced image. There's our original, there's our balanced. If you hit Shift Space, which will open up the Select Tool Picker, there's a tool called the Color Gain tool, which is basically just like the color correct tool. The main difference is on the gain section here, you have all these exposed at the same time. So, and in fact, they're identical. So if I wanted to just take and copy and paste these values, I could say Command C to copy the blue value to this tool and do that in here, Command V. And then we'll do the same thing. I changed the red value Command C on this one, Command V, and you'll see that is the exact same as that. So it's just, this one exposes everything. This one, you do need to click those buttons down there. The other thing that's really helpful for split wipes is just always comparing a before and after. So let's do that. We're looking at the color gain right now. If I want to see the before, which could be buffer split wipe B, which is where I want to talk about the keyboard shortcuts for all these. Buffer A is the comma key, okay? Buffer B is the period key right next to it on the right on the keyboard. You can see that loaded buffer B. And then the split wipe is the slash key, which is just to the right of the period key. So that gives us all those options, and we can see which we're viewing up here. So if I want to see media in 1 in my buffer B, I just click hard, drag it over here, and I do need to change. Right now, this is viewing the blue channel. I change this to see the color channel of it. You can see the difference that the linear gain adjustment made for us. Shift space, white balance. There it is. The thing about using the white balance tool, I'm going to just go to one viewer over here, just the A viewer. We have these different viewers as well. It's like a 1 viewer and a 2 viewer. I rarely use both of these, but this is a tool that requires it. I'm going to load media in this one. So we have a source in this one. The white balance tool results in this one. The reason why we need 2 is because I need to be sampling a different image than my results, because it uses a tool picker and it is color space aware. So if I change my color space here to change it to from image, which we can do because we're working color managed and we tagged it, we can just click this reference eyedropper, click hold, and the eyedroppers in Fusion, you actually drag. I'm pushing down and dragging over the image, maybe somewhere over this part of the truck, and we can see the result of that is really nice as well. So here's the results of the white balance tool down there in that bottom viewer. And here's the color corrected version when using linear gain. And here's the exact same color gain values from there. So they all got us there. Obviously the white balance tool got us there much quicker, but now you can understand how you can use these values that are at the bottom of the viewer to take care of stuff. Hey, I'm Chadwick. This is Creative Video Tips. And because there's so much more to learn, I'll see you in the next video.